Damn, I love the city. I was only 17 when the feeling came to me. Felt the lights surrounding me, subway beats under my feet. I could feel the energy.
In an interview with Kyle Dantzwitz, curatorial manager at Madison Square Park Conservancy, he says, "When the Madison Square Park Conservancy was founded and refurbished, there was no designated sculptures in New York City parks. They wanted to bring contemporary art into Madison Square Park and have it be a consistent program running 4 to 5 shows a year. Most of the work has been specially commissioned for the park, and everything is designed with the park in mind. So what are these goals? The goals are to present contemporary art in a welcoming space to a broader audience rather than a typical museum or gallery which alienates or creates an intimidating experience. For Dantzwitz, street art is more impromptu and unofficial, while he recognizes Madison Square Park as an official exhibition and not just a random piece of work. He believes vandalism and street are to become more and more commoditized in the future, as well as an increase in sculpture and intervention in public space. Madison Square Conservancy is partnered with the Parks Department and is both privately and publicly funded, so they can raise money and don't take public money. Most funding comes from private donors, sponsors, and federal competitive grants. Madison Square Park will continue to create exhibitions in the future while thinking about long-term projects that will be totally ramped up. Madison Square focuses on one location and has ideas about the city, but branching out of the conventional by focusing on the uncommon works.
Maybe it was that parade that made you feel like holidays, or the parties through the night that don't get out until the light.
5 Points is an outdoor art exhibit space located in Marlin City, New York. It was considered to be the world's premier graffiti mecca. Aerosol artists from all around the world came to paint pieces of art on the walls of this 200,000 square feet building. The name 5 Points signifies the 5 boroughs coming together as one, but it has actually united aerosol artists from across the world. The curator, Jonathan Cohen, also known by his signature tag, Mirrors One, made it his goal to turn this 5-story industrial building complex at Jackson Ave and Davis Street into a graffiti art museum. However, on a Tuesday morning in November 2013, daily 7-train riders and locals did not see the graffiti on the wall anymore. Every piece of art that covered the building was now covered with white paint. The owners of the building, Jerry Wolkoff and his son David, had a development plan which was approved by the City Council to make way for a pair of luxury apartments. Less than 12 hours after this building was turned white, new pieces of artwork were already up on the building again. Because 5 Points is gone, is it the end of graffiti for New York City?
Yeah, I don't think that just because one building got knocked down, like, to face, like, turn clean.
People get buffed every day, B.
Buffed is a word used for to clean up graffiti
Definition thing.
when the government comes and paints over this stuff. But, I mean, it's just one building. There are plenty of other buildings that are filled with graffiti. The government can try to cut it down as much, but at the end of the day, somebody's still going to be illegal, doing illegal things.
Queens' longtime graffiti 5 Points was recently whitewashed, yet the street art culture is still alive. Ficolora, who is the curator and founder of the Bushwick Collective, coordinated with other local building owners to provide empty walls for street artists. This is a spot where they can legally paint. Pieces are arranged through legal agreements signed by the artist and landlord. Ficolora himself doesn't know anything about art, but he welcomes artists from all these places around the world. They bring their expertise and talents to Bushwick. Some pieces stretch further than just the walls, flowing out onto doors, roofs, water towers, and the sidewalks. Just because one building is gone doesn't mean that art can't grow in other places.
I can make it here, I can make it anywhere, that's what they say. See my face in the lights, on my name, my monkeys found down on Broadway. Even
a brief description of like how you got started in like paintings and like your artwork and stuff?
It's actually funny. I haven't painted in 10 years. I just started painting last year. Before that, I did a lot of digital artwork. My major in college was computer art.
Do you consider like your murals or your street art as graffiti? Or what do you consider like graffiti?
I mean, graffiti technically is more lettering and sentencing and the materials that you use. Graffiti writers, they have a kind of code of conduct. They have a code of what materials they like. They have a kind of a list of what materials you should paint with. It's kind of like a community, and they adhere to this code. And you're kind of, once you decide to be a graffiti writer, you must be kind of initiated by writing with another graffiti writer, associated with a crew. So I'm not in that genre because I paint, and when I do my pieces, I paint my pieces on walls. So the same paints that I use for a canvas are the same paints that I use on a wall. So I kind of consider myself a little different from that category. And also, most graffiti writers won't even consider me a graffiti writer. So I'm friends with a lot of graffiti writers. I know Futura, Scene. So I know them. I've hung around them. We've been at art show together. I've told them admiration for their work. But if you were to go to say, "Oh, what do you think about this guy's graffiti?" they would be like, "This guy's not a graffiti writer." So I can't call myself a graffiti writer because I just paint as an artist.
So could you kind of explain like that interaction between people and street art and like their direct impact on what they get to see on the street?
I think with street art is 100% interactive. If an artist puts a piece up and people don't like it, they'll destroy it. And anybody can destroy it. An old lady in a wheelchair with a bucket of paint can say, "I hate this paint," and it's gone. You know. So where people decide whether they like a painting or not, it's really determined by the quality of the artwork. Whether it's something that it's normal or something that you've never seen before, if it doesn't feel right to people, it'll be gone, guaranteed tomorrow.
Okay. And like that's how street art kind of distinguishes itself from
the different
classic.
Yeah, but different classic gallery artwork. It's a classic gallery artwork. There's a certain amount of time for them to say this artwork is it, and it's going to be there no matter what. You know, street art, if it's not good, it will not be there within a day.
Mm-hmm. So like the turnover of like street art is
high. It's very high turnover, or very low turnover in terms of if people like the artwork, it'll be there and you won't see anybody touch it. But if they don't like it, it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Have you personally experienced having your artwork kind of just been?
I've had one piece of artwork painted over by the owner of the building who kind of agreed to let me paint. The owner of the restaurant, they kind of agreed to let me paint on the wall. And it was because they didn't want my name signed on it the way I signed my name. So they erased my name off of it, and the next day I erased the whole thing. So it's very interactive.
Mm-hmm. So your form of like kind of public art that you display on the street, like, do you feel like that type of artwork is on the rise now, or has been kind of trendy recently?
I think it's always been there.
So how do you promote street art?
Nowadays, it's a lot of forms from Instagram, you take pictures, Twitter, all social media. But then you also have like magazines. People put together these magazines just for pictures, street art photos, and they'll even do interviews on certain people, certain artists, and just get it out that way.
So how do you promote graffiti? I mean, people, social media, so Instagram, there's magazines, you can do magazines, canvases, and a lot of blogs help, like, photography, a lot of blogs happen now, so like Tumblr and stuff like that. Pretty much it's the internet, because the internet is such a big thing.
think the future of street art will be?
Future of street art. They've been trying to evolve it and get people to stop actually permanently writing on walls or staining walls. I think this thing called laser. I think it's called laser street art or something like that. And it's not permanent. It's really from a projector and it's onto the wall. But I don't know. People are gonna continue to write on walls, whether people like it or hate it, love it, doesn't matter. It's gonna get tagged up. Doesn't matter.
I think it's always gonna be, graffiti everywhere. Street art definitely, because people make it a profession. Some of these people are out there on the streets, selling their artwork, and that's their job, that's their occupation. As long as there's art, there's gonna be street art. But I feel like graffiti, as much as they try to cut it down now, there's always going to be some type of graffiti. You can't clean every building in the city or state or country, or the world for that matter, and people are just always going to write on stuff. That's
Feeling